So, hello to the world. It is launch day for The Truth About Pricing. I am Lena Palmer and super excited to be here and celebrating the launch with whomever is able to make it live. I know that these sorts of things don't always coordinate with people's schedules. I had a bunch of people reaching out and saying that they were sorry they couldn't make it because they had a, standing meeting at this time or they were presenting something somewhere, whatever that happens to be. So, we will post the recording. Of course, I had people submit some questions in advance, and we're just excited to be here and promoting the new book that's out in the world now. Pretty cool. Was able to do some just sort of checking on Amazon today, and we have the book is coming up as a number one new release in quite a few different sections. So let's see, we are number one new release in management, number three new release in sales and selling, number 10 new release in marketing and sales, number eight in small business, number 13 in business development and entrepreneurship. So lots of cool and exciting things happening there. And welcome, Brandy. I see that you're joining us here as well. Great to see your name. I have mentioned that I have this set up as a webinar, so I can't see you, but I'm allowing people to talk as many as we can to be able to participate in the conversation. So I would say that if any of you who are here live, if you know that you have a question that you want to ask and wanted to maybe raise your hand, so we don't have everybody talking at once, and we do have, the Q&A section as well. And then, as I said, I have some questions that were submitted in advance that I will go through and be answering as well to talk a little bit about the truth about pricing, which is here today. And I'm super bummed. My books are on the way. I get author copies and they're not here yet. I was hoping they were going to be here in advance to be able to actually hold one up. So potentially, some of you will have them before I get mine. We'll just sort of see how that goes. So before I jump in onto some of the pre-asked questions, does anyone who's here live have a question that you want to ask to kick things off or anything? I know I said hi to Fred and Matei already too, but before we started recording. Okay. Well, let's see. One of the questions I've actually been getting quite a bit is that someone asked, I've had several people ask why I decided to focus specifically on pricing for this book. I would say that the main reason that I have focused this book to be about pricing is because I know that so many people struggle with pricing and that it is something that is just difficult, it seems, for everyone. And it's also at this point where it's just the most important thing, really, when it comes to business and whether or not people are going to buy what it is that you're selling, which is the whole point. It comes down to how you talk about it, how you showcase it, the tone of your voice, the word choice that you use, the imagery. All of these things are so important, and people don't realize how much all of that matters when it comes to that pricing psychology. And so being able to showcase that and give people real steps and tips and tools that they can use to go through and just kind of go step by step in applying the insights, I think is just really hopefully going to help a lot of people with their pricing. And I believe so. Fred, who's here, I think you took the pricing course through A&M, and so I want you to know there's lots of new stuff in the book that wasn't necessarily in that course.
Actually, I don't think I took pricing. I took the better presentations,
Okay.
and the other one was on time management or whatever. I forget the exact title of the
Oh, the
course.
goals one.
Goals, yes, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then, good news all around, but really there is a lot. I know that several of the students who have taken my class on pricing strategy and product development through Texas A&M Human Behavior Lab are also some were early readers of the Truth About Pricing, and people that have said that there's a lot of really great value in there. That it even goes beyond that 10-week course that we had together there at A&M. So, yeah. Uh, any other questions yet from those who are here live? Know that you should be able to raise your hand at any point if you do have something that you want to ask. So, another question that I got was someone asking, what about discounting? Is it a good or a bad strategy? And as people who know me, whether you've taken my classes or I've been a consultant for you or whatever else, you will come to know. And I guess with from the podcast too, I say it depends a lot. So with discounting, though, while it does depend whether it's a good or a bad strategy, um, it is one of those things that people use discounts way more often than they should. And so it should not ever be done in a way that isn't thoughtful, as with really everything. In the book, I really go on about a very important decision that every business needs to make, which is to determine if your business is one of quality or one of value. And the episode that is digging in on quality versus value and what that means in business is going to be coming out this Friday. So today's new episode of the Brainy Business Podcast is talking about, it's a refresh of the original Truth About Pricing episode that came out way back in July of 2018. And so that is being refreshed. It's the framework that kicks off part 3 of the book. And that is the episode that's out today. Friday's episode, like I said, is brand new and talking about the difference between a quality and a value business. So a little bit about it here. And this is just one of those core, most important decisions that you can make because it determines how you go down some of the various paths, like those within the it's not about the cookie framework that, again, is talked about on today's episode. So, with that, the quality business, these are your luxury brands. They're ones that are maybe on a higher quality naming because you have different certifications or levels of expertise. These are brands that maybe are sustainably sourced. They are ones that are also just trying to be exclusive in a different way. It's not to say that they don't have a good value for their buyers, but really they are centered and focused on being about quality. Those brands are less likely to do discounts and to run sales. Like Louis Vuitton is never going to be on sale. And they've said that that's not something that they do. It's a really key piece of what their brand is about. And their pricing, generally, I recommend should be in rounded numbers. So being 500 instead of 499 or 497. On the flip side, we have our value-based businesses, and those are ones that are more likely to be about discounts and deals and bargains and things like that. And again, not to say that they don't have quality items. It doesn't mean they have to be junk because they're not a quality business in this way. But really, the value would be like a Costco is one that I really showcase in the book. And they do lots of discounts, and they're definitely still needing to be done in a thoughtful way. But for them, that's a really good strategy. And in the Truth About Pricing, like I said, that framework on It's Not About the Cookie, talking about something like scarcity. So your scarcity for a value-based business is maybe going to be more on time. This thing is on sale for today only, or for the first 10 people, or something like that. Whereas for the quality business, it might be because they're handmade and there's a limited quantity that is available, or there's a limit on your time that's available if it's in consulting, things like that. So, discounting in and of itself isn't necessarily a good or a bad strategy, but it is something that is not necessarily the for everyone, and you always just want to be thoughtful about that. So, um, yay. Hi, Fred. Please ask your question.
Yeah, I have a question. Are there cultural or does the book handle cultural aspects to pricing and specifically discounts?
It does not.
Does
And
not.
um, mostly because you don't know, can't fit everything and I had
Yeah,
to
of
edit
course.
down. But do you have a specific question
No, it's
about?
just that I've noticed if I'm dealing with some countries such as the United States, that's no quibble pricing. We're selling a quality product and a discount is seldom asked for.
Mhm.
Whereas there's other countries where they have to have a discount. I can add 10% to the price to give them a 5% discount and they'll effectively pay more, but they've got to have that discount. Otherwise, they lose face. That's
Mhm.
what I was wondering.
Yeah. So the book specifically does not get into those cultural differences. And it's really looking for kind of those similarities. And with everything throughout, um, let's say a lot of what's in the book is looking at the things that you can be making a decision about and giving you guidance of
Mhm.
these sorts of points. So that is a place where you would be looking at that, how you're going to thoughtfully be applying a discount and knowing where you're selling on a global scale. And that for your clients in this market, the climate is different and those cultural norms are different. There are definitely some areas of the world where, like you said, negotiation is common. Like that's just
Yeah.
standard for any type of product or service or business. And so, for like you said, if it is something that if you can't get a discount, it's going to look bad for
Mhm.
them. You want to be thoughtful about the way that you would set that up, and you don't necessarily want or need to do that in a different market. It would be a question, I would say, where you would want to look at in this case, if that is the strategy that you have in one market, is it the one market that it's an exception to how you are setting up the brand itself? Or is it that predominantly where your brand is located, you have a lot of markets where people are liking and looking for discounts? And so you want to be incorporating that kind of across the board? Is it more what your brand is really about? Or do you have a different philosophy based on the different markets? And so, just for streamlining purposes and things, and making sure that you have a consistent brand as much as you can across different areas is something that I would, consider and take into account.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I see we've had some others join, and I'm going to go ahead and Siri, go away. So let's see. We'll unraise. Did you raise your hand again, or am I needing to have to? Yep, cool. Um, again, for everyone who is here live, if you have a question, please raise your hand and would love to address it here. And I'm going in and answering some other questions that were submitted in advance here about the book. And thank you again for everyone who's here. Excited about the truth about pricing, as I hope you are as well. Um, Give it 2 seconds, see if someone raises their hand. Okay. So another question, and this is a bit of a longer one, but I think builds onto the question, that had to do with discounting. So saying, does one always have to have a value ladder? For example, our coaching packages are 8,500 and 15,000. My branding specialist said I needed to have an intro option for people, which we have as email action plan priced at 995. In about 4 years, we've sold about five. Is it hurting anything to have it, or is it still good to have it as an option? Someone in my mastermind was asking what our value ladders were today. So as with anything and everything and no matter what, and I do talk about this quite a bit in the book, you don't have to do anything. Just across the board, no matter what, you don't have to do anything. And just because everyone in your industry does something a certain way, just because you've always done things in a certain way, or if you think that people have to buy in a certain way, just those rules don't feel like you have to do anything if it doesn't align with what you want your business to be about. Like if you were saying we're a quality business and we don't want to have this type of whether this is a loss leader or not, if you say we just aren't going to do that, I don't like that idea, you don't have to do anything for one. If you are going to do something like that, you want to really be thoughtful to, again, how it ties in with everything that you offer. So bringing it back to Costco, they have their rotisserie chickens and their hot dog meals. The hot dog meals are $1.50 for a hot dog and a soda combo. And they've said they will never raise the price. Their rotisserie chickens are $4.99, and again, they are not planning to raise the prices on that, even though Costco loses between 30 and $40 million a year on rotisserie chickens alone. And when you look at that in and of itself, it seems like a really bad strategy, but it's a value thing that pulls people in. And of course, Costco makes plenty of money, right? So it's not um, that they don't have a good model overall. But what that says about their brand, how much they care about their members, that they're really out to help them to get great value in everything they do. Clearly, they're a value-based business. Having that sort of a lead that pulls people in makes a lot of sense. So the in the book, I talk about, say, if you were a landscape architect and you're doing design work and you have, maybe 10 clients that are interested. And in one case, you charge $1,000 to do a plan for people to like mock up what their yard is going to look like for them to then make a decision. And then they can opt in for these, say, average ticket price of a $30,000 project. Or maybe you do those designs for free and you lose money on the design. But if you know you convert 8 out of 10 people when you do that design, when they get a design and they can see it, right? It becomes tangible and we know what's there. And I want to move forward and you did it. So I might as well just move forward with you. Then it makes sense to do that if, say, the conversion rate, you have a lot less people that buy in to get the design when it costs $1,000 versus doing the free version. And so if you only get, 3 people out of 10 that would have bought or done the design or who were interested that are willing to move forward, you're just cutting your value really and opportunities to make money down significantly if you don't allow people to buy in and get that free or very discounted item. Maybe you only do it for $100 or $50 or something that applies to, the deal if they end up buying. So that is something that can make it to where having that value ladder makes sense to get. If you get someone in the door, you can convert a whole lot of other things, then that is potentially a really great strategy for you. And just because people haven't bought it doesn't mean it isn't helping in other areas. So you can test taking it away, but you just want to think about how you're presenting it, how you're talking about it to see if it's helping overall. I see that my friend Matt Johnson has joined the call. Not to put you on the spot, Matt, but thank you for profiling the truth about pricing already on Neuroscience of, and excited to have you here.
Hello, hello, Melina. Congratulations on your book launch.
Thank you. I'm very excited. I know that for everyone, potentially you've heard Matt, he's been on the podcast twice already. And I hear there may be a third book on the horizon. We kind of go, step by step here that we've had our books come out right around the same time so far. So I was expecting your book to be like right at the same time for whatever your third would be.
You beat me this time, but maybe I'll beat you with number four. We'll see. Not that we're competitive at all.
No, not at all. Definitely, definitely not. Well, thanks so much for being here. Happy to have you and everyone who's here live and who sent those questions in advance. We have another. The questions don't just have to be about pricing specific stuff. If anybody just has something you wanted to say, or if you had a question for me about, I know I get lots of questions about the process of writing books or different aspects, anything. It is an Ask Me Anything sort of session here today, and just an opportunity to be excited about the new book coming out. It's a little bit, like I said, I wish I could see you all. I should have set it up more as the meeting than the webinar, but it's all good. So, one other question that was submitted in advance that I hope everyone is thinking about as you're, watching this, you're here live or you're watching the recording later, was a question from another great friend and wonderful author, Amy Bucher, saying, once it's out in the world, what feedback could someone give you from their personal experience applying the content that would make you feel like you achieved your goals in writing this book, which is such a fun question and something that I think for every author or anybody, any content you're producing, we don't just write these things for ourselves, right? If it's already in here, I didn't need to necessarily write it out. So I would say that in the case of this book, which is pretty similar to the others, I think, but anybody who is able to say, I read this and I was able to get more confident in my pricing and I made this change. You don't have to do everything, right? When we look across the book, it's not like you have to do absolutely everything perfectly. You can, start with one thing or two things that you're going to implement, and it's meant to be something you're referencing and continuing to go back to. So even just to say, I looked at how I was presenting my offers and I was starting low and working my way up. And after reading the book, I changed how I talk about it and I ended up selling double what I usually do. Or, I know from working with people on pricing over the years, it'll be that they have a specific package that they really want to sell, but nobody ever gets that because it's the most expensive thing that you're offering, which 999 times out of 1,000, the thing you really want people to buy should not be the most expensive thing that you offer. And so if they were to say, okay, I read about this and I created a new high anchor that made it so people started to buy the thing that I know that they should get, which is so exciting. So really just whatever it is that they are choosing to implement from the book, saying, it was so easy to understand and I was able to make this change, which resulted in more sales, me being more confident in the selling process, my team feeling really good about selling, having happier customers, all these things that I get with my consulting clients, people being able to get that from the book is really the goal, that you were able to use it and see great results. That's a big thing that I would really, of course, love to see. And another question that I know is out there and that, again, I hope is on people's mind is sort of what can you do to support me and support the launch of the book? And the biggest things now, of course, we've been doing a contest for everyone who pre-orders their copy, and we've got another like 30 minutes. So sorry if you're watching this on the replay on this one, but we've been talking about it for quite some time. So those who are here live, if you haven't already pre-ordered your copy, and let us know by sending an email to hello@thebrainybusiness.com with that screenshot. You have about 30 minutes to do that. And we're going to do a drawing for someone to win a free virtual 1-hour strategy session with me, which is a $500 value. And so do take some time to do that if you're interested in winning that and joining into that drawing, which is exciting. So pre-orders are now done, I guess, mostly because it's, the book is out, but we have a little bit of a moment here for those who are here live to be able to enter into that. So the other would be, once you have bought, or even if you don't, doing those 5-star ratings and reviews on Amazon, Goodreads, wherever else are so helpful. And those can start coming in today. And Amazon, with its algorithm, it really wants to hit that number of 25 ratings and reviews. There are some key points you need. I think at least 5 ratings to get anything to show up stars wise. So we definitely need to hit that threshold. And then 25 is the number that helps us to boost and for more people to see and learn about the book. So anyone who is open to just leaving that 5-star rating, amazing. If you are then also open to posting a review, Amazing. Love it. And for anyone who's open to and interested in posting on social media, would of course love, love, love that as well. We are using for this book, the hashtag is truth about pricing to be posting. And we also have for anyone who's watching and you want to go post a question somewhere else later, you can always be using the hashtag pricing questions. And we have that in the book that you can go post that at any point. You can go see what other people are asking. I'm going to be answering those questions, in perpetuity on social media. So we want to see a lot of those and keep that conversation going about pricing. So biggest things for now, sharing on social, ratings, reviews. I am going to be posting some content that has images and text for people that samples, both helping for those reviews, and for social shares to make it so it's easier for you to get started. I find it's I forget who recently said to me that it's really hard to edit a blank page. Maybe it was Rory Sutherland, but so it's hard to edit a blank page. Oh no, I think it was Cass Sunstein actually. It's really hard to edit a blank page. So having something to start with that someone's given you can make it easier to do that. So let's move to a question that came in the Q&A. Thank you, Matt, saying you have so many wonderful, highly tangible examples in your books. Thank you. That's nice, such as the golden octopus and the $214 grilled cheese sandwich, etc. How do you go about finding such great examples? Do you search for them deliberately out in the world, or do these simply come to you? So thank you. Very kind. And here he is. This is the golden octopus. So Matt is one of those early readers that was able to check out and provide a very nice blurb about the book. And like I said, he's already posted an article on Neuroscience of, which we'll go ahead and link to and share when we share about this. And we're going to put it on the page for the book and everything. So thank you, Matt. I would say that in general, the examples mostly just sort of come to me, I guess. It's what it feels like. And I'm guessing that there's more active search than I realize. I'm just sort of always on the hunt for interesting examples. And in that aspect of be thoughtful, like we, end every episode of the podcast, and those pieces of thoughtfulness to be trying to think about where this particular item may fall and what comes to mind of a different concept or how this can be applied. The When it comes to writing the books, there's a lot of research and just reading and seeing what's out there and having conversations with people who, were when I was working on this, The Truth About Pricing. My husband, who of course is very kind and allows for lots and lots of time for writing books and is very, very supportive. So huge shout out to Aaron and thank you. Everyone can always thank Aaron for all that exists because he watches the kids when needed and is just really helpful providing strategic feedback and things on the work. But he was the one that brought up Supreme, which wasn't really on my radar, and I wrote quite a bit about them in the book. And so suggestions from people where they will go through and tag me and say, have you heard about this? Or have you seen that? Students posting about things through A&M or, clients asking about different aspects. And some of it is just doing some Google search of good pricing examples, bad XYZ examples, really expensive whatevers, I don't know how Serendipity 3 and the $214 grilled cheese sandwich originally got on my radar, but I know I talked about it really, really, really early on in the podcast back in 2018. And I think if it wasn't in the Truth About Pricing episode, I know I talked about it shortly thereafter. We talked about scarcity. And maybe even what is value. So with all of that, just a lot of reading and researching and investigating and being open to the world, I guess, is how that comes in. So thank you for your question, Matt. I really appreciate it. Any other questions from those who are here live? You can raise your hand if you wanted to be able to verbalize and share a thought or kind words or questions or anything. All right. Well, I want to make sure that everyone is able to have a wonderful day and lots of time to be celebrating whatever's going on in your life right now. I know around here, as you know, we're going to be celebrating the launch of the Truth About Pricing and putting out those posts, like I said, with information that can be reshared to be giving those ratings, reviews, and anything on social media. And so thank you all so much. If there's anything that you want to ask as a follow-up, oh, that would be one other thing. If you know of a podcast or another place for an article, obviously, you know, like Matt, have already connected and done an interview to showcase in various areas. So thank you. If you know of anywhere where people would be interested in hearing about pricing, about getting advice about pricing, a book club, anything else, please do reach out and let me know. You can just email me directly, melina@thebrainybusiness.com, or tag and find me on social media. And I just want to thank everyone for your support in the Truth About Pricing and everything all kind of around the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful day. And if you have follow-up questions, you know where to find me. And, you know, always got to end it this way and say, you know, whatever you do, just remember to be thoughtful. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Look forward to reading it.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you, Melina.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you, Melina.
everyone. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.